Welcome back to another episode of the Female Empowered Podcast. I'm once again your host, Christa Gurka, and today we have kind of an interesting episode. So I just recently a new training for everyone in my Inner Circle mentorship program, all on how to leverage AI to automate your business and also basically be like another full-time employee. And I did this training live for the Inner Circle people, and now it's going to live in my FitBiz Foundation video training program. So what I did was I just recorded this call so you could kind of see the kind of live training that we do in the program, and also let you understand what you get from me when you sign up for our Inner Circle mentorship program, which at the time of this recording, it is about to be open for our July enrollment. And we have officially 2 open spots for female business owners who have exceeded $250,000 in annual revenue and are looking to streamline their systems and processes so they can increase profitability and revenue and grow a more sustainable business. So we'll get into today's episode, and this is a live call that we do on one of our weekly calls in the Inner Circle. And so let's get to it. So I want someone, I don't care who it is, whoever types it in first into the chat, type in a prompt that you want ChatGPT to use for creating a blog for you. I was just going to have somebody, whoever types it in first, because I'm going to teach you how to improve prompts. So Carol typed in caring for feet in the summer. Okay. Do you want the prompt to be write a blog for caring for your feet in the summer? Yes. Okay. So write a blog about caring for your feet in the summer. Okay, so this is actually really interesting because chat has all my stuff in here. Do you see how it automatically said perfect for a Pilates studio or physical therapy practice? So it already knows me. So this is cheating like a little bit. All right. So now, could this be good enough? Yeah. Happy feet, happy summer, how to care for your feet when the heat is on. Okay, fine. It has a good SEO here, how to care for your feet, right? But what if we improved the prompt? Okay, so what if we followed that, what's the word I'm looking for? Formula. Okay, so what if we told it, act as a, so we could say health care writer, or you could say, or wellness journalist. Okay. And write how many words, right? Write a 250 SEO optimized blog specifically around the topic. Would you say, Carol, would it be like people that have pain in their feet, people that are like dry feet, people that have uncomfortable feet? Like, what would you specifically be trying to get to?
Usually it's because people are going around barefoot or in flip-flops.
Okay. So SEO optimized.
It's the behavior.
Yes,
the summer behavior.
Got it. Around the topic of people who wear no shoes or flip-flops in the summer and subsequently have problems with their feet. Okay. Then you want to I would tell it, what SEO optimized do you want? So what are people actually Googling? So SEO optimization around keywords for maybe pain in feet in summer and other related search terms. Present it in a Google Doc format. Okay? Think. Right here, if we copy this, it's already going to be in like a Google Doc format. See how like we can copy from here, you can download it, you can share it as a PDF. So look right here. So why your feet hurt more in the summer. This would be a perfect, maybe what people are searching, right? Why do my feet hurt in the summer? The real problem is flip-flops and barefoot living. Now, the other thing you can do for this is you should read it, obviously, okay? If you want to include statistics in here, you can say, great, see here, keywords, pain feet in summer, summer foot pain, plantar fasciitis, barefoot foot problems, right? You can also determine the voice, okay? So you would have to go back like over here, okay? Can you make the blog more professional sounding and include SEO optimized back links? And it will edit it right here again for you. So that this is really just a matter of how you want your voice. Now, remember when we did last week the brand voice exercise? So if you could just say, make it in my brand voice.
You just said a lot of words that I wouldn't have thought of. And I know you've been doing this, but
Yeah.
like I would think that I was being detailed, but this was so much more specific. Like just even the SEO optimized and the backlinks. I don't know. How do we know?
I'm going to give you guys like how to make the best blog prompt, how to
Okay.
make the best email prompt,
Right.
how to make the best social prompt.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
'Cause
you
I was
guys will
saying,
get
even
all of
with
this. And so
okay.
this is exactly why
Okay.
I'm going to teach you how to be as, what's the word again? You guys hear me say this all the time. What's the word? As granular, I guess, as granular as possible. All right. So now the only thing I will do here is I will see, this is sometimes what ChatGPT does. So it did it made it look like it's a link, but not all of them are links. So you have to just go back. See, this is page not found, right? So that's the only thing I will say with chat. If you're ever doing statistics or a backlink, and a backlink, for those of you that don't understand or didn't know what that means, a backlink is where you have a link in your blog. Have you ever read something and there's a link to it and you click on it and it takes you somewhere else? Okay, that is good for wherever it takes you to. So, for example, let's say Aaron and Carol have Pilates studios, right? And Beth. But now, and then we have 3 pelvic health practices on here. What if maybe you guys combined and said, hey, do you have any blogs that I could backlink on my website? And how about you put a backlink to my blog on your website, right? That tells Google, because now Google, what they basically do is they have all these crawlers that crawl around the internet, and they're like, oh, people came from this other site to this site. That means more people want to read this, right?
Balance.
Yes. And so you can also backlink. Latasha does this for me a lot, where she will put in my newsletters, by the way, if you read my email that goes out on Wednesdays it'll have sections, not just about watching the podcast, but then there'll be another section about read the blog. And sometimes it'll say another blog that was old. Okay. So anytime you have backlinks, that's what a backlink is. All right. By the way, this type of format is really good for a blog. Not a ton of copy. Remember that we talk about H1 and H2s, all different headers. This is a great one. When to seek professional help for those of you that are service providers. So Carol, if you did, this could be something where it's like when to seek professional help could be maybe you backlink to, I don't know, Alex's PT place and like MFR, or your craniosacral therapist, or you say, this is a great time to schedule. Oh, you only do one-on-one sessions, but maybe if you were a group class, like doing a one-on-one assessment. So these are just ways that you can prompt the device, the software, to make it better. And if you don't like it, if you're like, no, it sounds too professional, literally you can tell it, I use this prompt all the time, explain it to me like a 5th grader. Okay. Or you could say, dumb it down so that a 5th grader could understand it. You can be very literal, just like you did, Carol, with someone's on Ozempic. They're overly stressed. They don't eat for 7 hours a day. And maybe that's why they're gaining weight. Who knows? But you can do diarrhea of the mouth in here, which is,
Didn't include the audience. Like, is this to our
oh, yes.
general public? Is this to our clients? Is this to other Pilates instructors?
It's a great point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great point, Erin. And so thank you for bringing that up. You should put in here who it's directed for. So when I put it in initially, chat, because I'm doing it on my actual chat, it recognizes that like I talk to Pilates and physical therapy people. So it's putting it directly to customers. However, let's say I wanted to do it to other professionals, right? Like I would change the language and make it geared towards who your actual audience is. That's a great point. Thank you for actually not correcting, but bringing that to my attention. So you definitely want to know who it's for. And this is where if you do have your ideal client persona saved in there, you could say, and if maybe Carol, they gave your ideal person, they gave her a picture, maybe they gave her a name and be like, how would Jane think about this? Write a blog that Jane would resonate with. And by the way, when we as a company, our ideal customer persona in Pilates in the Grove was named Georgia. And every time we did any type of promotion, we're like, what would Georgia think? Would Georgia like this? Would Georgia not like it? Would she be irritated with it? Would she be tolerate it? What would Georgia think? Okay. So keywords that you want to use when prompting for, hold on, where's whiteboards? Oh, whiteboards here. Okay. Okay. So that you want to use for prompting with blogs. Okay. Act as what type of writer do you want this person to be? A wellness writer. You could use journalist. A sports writer, right? Maybe. But if you do sports, remember, it has to be, if you're talking about sports writers would talk about the actual sport versus if you want then a sports medicine, right? So medicine. Okay. You could be a healthcare journalist. All right. So let's take the second one that you guys did. So let's take benefit of Pilates for women in menopause and their pelvic floor. Okay. So let's take that right here. Okay. So act as I would say health and wellness journalist. And write an SEO optimized 300-word blog for women in menopause. Now, again, if you guys are local, you guys are all local brick and mortar people, right? So you could say in your area, in Topsail, North Carolina, right? In Summit, New Jersey, in the Pacific Northwest. So then what I would say is I like to use this analogy like WIFT. It's like what's in it for them, WIIFT, WIFT, what's in it for them. It's like, because the thing is pelvic floor right now is also like a little trendy. And so people are like, oh, I want to help my pelvic floor. Some of the people don't even know what it is. It's like when people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to fix my rotator cuff. I'm like, first of all, it's not a cup. It's a cuff. And do you know there's 4 muscles in your rotator cuff? They don't know. Someone told them, oh, it's your rotator cuff. And they're like, oh, it's my rotator cuff. You're not even pronouncing it the right way. Okay, so I would say act as a health and wellness journalist and write an SEO optimized 300-word blog for women in menopause who are seeking information about how Pilates will benefit their pelvic floor. Include information on why they should care. And then the more you add, so like these women are between, so if they're in menopause, let's say 45 to 60, okay? And possibly do not even understand the pelvic floor anatomy or symptoms of dysfunction. Okay, what tone would you like the blog to be in? Educational, informational, funny, professional?
Educational and funny.
Okay. The tone should be educational. How about but lighthearted and fun? Okay. So I'm going to leave this here and now I'm going to copy it and I'm going to type it into ChatGPT. You can copy it over here. And also remember that when you do get the video playback, it'll have these little timestamps so you guys can go back in and grab them. But let me stop sharing right now so that I could put it into chat. And now I'm going to start. Yeah, let's see. Let's just start a new chat. Okay, so let's do this. Here we go. You guys can see this now? Okay. So Pilates and your pelvic floor. This is a great SEO, right? Pilates and pelvic floor. That's probably what people are searching.
What women in menopause should know, but no one told you. I like that one a
Right.
lot.
And this is similar, Lauren, to some of the stuff we talked about when we were doing social media about what your doctor says, but isn't true, or what you think you know, but no one, what you should know, but no one told you, these kind of things. So this is funny, like leaks when you sneeze, pressure down there, or that constant urge to pee every Target trip. Like that's funny, right? However, if you read, this is where this comes in. So sometimes I have a relatively funny tone sometimes where I'm just like, shoot from the hip. Like I'm not a big censorer of my words, which is not even a word, but sometimes when I read it, it's like too cheeky. You know what I mean? And so I'll be like, it's a little too cheeky. Like make it funny, but not like a writer wrote it for me. So you could go whatever way, right? What is your pelvic floor? That's where Pilates comes in. I think this is like a really good, it's not that long. Okay.
That could even be an Instagram post. It's not that long.
It could be a total Instagram post. So you could take, okay, let's do this. So now act as my social media manager. And by the way, if people, let's say like Jasmine Star, so she's a influencing social media person, right? That teaches people how to use social media, and provide 5 different ways to repurpose this post for Instagram and I don't know, let's say TikTok. Oh, and YouTube is huge. So YouTube, this is something that people really, okay? Specifically for women between 45 and 60 years old. And you could, again, give it like, make the tone XYZ, do what format? Do you want a reel? Let's provide a reel option and a care for self option with a specific CTA for each option. And the beauty is you don't have to spell anything right because ChatGPT is very smart. Okay, so what's a pelvic floor and why should you care? The format, so you're talking with light background music and pop-up text. Here's a script. Ladies, if you leak when you laugh, sneeze, and jump, this one's for you. That's your pelvic floor calling for help. Pilates can actually fix this. Now, the only thing with something like Fix, you can use it in a social post, but if you ever wanted to run an ad to that, you can't use something like this, like Instagram Meta would fix. You can be as polarized. But by the way, if you wrote this and all the pelvic health practitioners came out after you, it's just like more virality to your post. So it's fine. You pointing to, so this is the visual, like maybe you have a pelvis, right? So this is, and then here, tag a friend who needs to hear this for weekly 4 that don't sound like medical textbook. Okay. Pelvic floor 101. So here's YouTube shorts, TikTok remixes, IG static posts. What I was going to say is what you could do really nicely for this is you could take a still graphic, like a still photo of anything, and you could make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and make 8 care posts, and you would just copy each one of these and put it as like the script, the text box on each pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, little tidbit, just from like an Instagram perspective. Instagram right now is optimized for reels. It's like the first time in probably 3 or 4 years that you can actually grow your audience without putting money. Now, you can't grow it, like you can't double it, but maybe you get an extra 100 people. So even if you put a static picture on there and create a carousel, you know how when you go on, it'll ask you, like, do you want to add music to this? Add music to it, because then Instagram puts it on your reel page, on the reel page, and that's how you get people that are not your followers following you. Okay, so even if you use a static post, you don't have to put it loud, actually. I hate the music on posts a lot of times. So you can put the music on it, but then you could turn the volume down really much. Like Instagram doesn't know how loud the volume is. It just knows that you have music on that post. And then it puts it on the reel page. And what people do oftentimes is just scroll the reel page. Okay, so just if you're doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, and you guys will have this here. I gave you this worksheet last week, I believe. Okay. Okay. So this is very similar to what we were just talking about. Okay. All right. 60%, this is from Meta's internal data. So let's take it with a little grain of salt. But 60% of Instagram users discover new products or services through their platform. How many of you have bought something on Instagram? Like I need to have, you know how I don't know if you did this, if you have kids or not, but I used to put like double opt-ins for my kids because they used to buy shit all the time. And now I'm like, I need a double opt-in that it sends it to my husband to get permission, because I buy so much crap on Instagram. Some of it is really good, but some of it I'm like, do I really need it? No, but okay. And businesses that post 4 to 5 times a week grow faster. All of you guys are doing this great. Every single one of you is doing fine. You're doing fine. You're doing great. And by the way, I like how you've been coming on more with like personal stories on there, because also so if you think of what Instagram is, it's a social network, right? So anytime you post something that's going to elicit social joy, the algorithm pushes it out. You personally, your dog, your kid. I mean, I think I should start an Instagram page for Duncan. He gets way more, like, I love him. Oh my God. But so that's why it's good to infuse our personalities in them, because it helps other people see your post, right? Okay. This is what we were talking about. The prompt, this is right. What's their role? What's their context? The instruction, the format. So a not great is write me a post about mindset. Write me an Instagram carousel script in a casual, confident tone for a woman-owned Pilates studio about why your mindset is a foundation of your business success, and add a call to action and book a discovery call. So that's very specific. Okay. So things to include: audience type. This was what you were saying, Erin. So that's important. Who is this going out to? Voice, tone. If there's an offer, are you looking, what outcome are you looking for? Engagement, sales, education. So the pillars when we talk about social: education, information, entertainment, right? And inspiration. So if you think about those again, and education, information would be like sales and stuff. So information or invitation is like you sell. Entertainment, so funny mostly. And then inspiration, motivational stuff. So I will tell you that my motivational posts don't get a ton of traction, but I get a lot of like shares with them, because I think people resonate with them. It's not something people would like on necessarily, but they'll share it. Okay. And then iterate. You always want to iterate. Make it shorter, add more urgency, make it funnier, include a stat, make it less funny. It sounds too cheeky. I've said before, that sounds like like AI wrote it. I need to sound like a normal human being. And it will be like, you're right. That sounds too artificial. Okay. So here, and by the way, you guys, I'll put it again when I send you the homework in the Voxer group. I'll just drop this doc in there again, just so you have it. But here is the prompts for you guys to use. Okay, Erin, like here's good prompts for you. So give me 10 Instagram post ideas. 4A, include your business type. Who, what do you want them to do? What transformation are you trying to elicit? The audience is, and then keep ideas fresh, engagement driven. This is where you could put also, let me write it in here. Okay. Then here is if you want a caption, write an Instagram caption with a hook. The hook is the stop the scroll. Okay. The hook is a stop the scroll. Here is one thing really that I learned when I was starting to do stories, and I still do it sometimes, but I'm really trying not to. When you do a video on a story, try not to be like, hey there, everyone. You want to talk directly, or at the very least, put a text on there that says Pilates studio owners or women over 50. So they know, they're like, oh, that's me. I need to stop and listen to this. Or you could put Glen Ellen community, or, your local area, Summit, New Jersey. Okay, so use a tone. Here's for captions. Here's for carousel content repurposing. This is a fave of mine. This, you guys, none of you could have a podcast, blog, or an email into 3 Instagram caption and 2 real ideas. Okay. I also did for you a weekly content planner by business type. So I did one for pelvic health practices. I did guess so you could change this. You could change these goals. Okay. If your audience is not moms to be, you can obviously change this. But here's educational. Myth busting would be like informational. Yeah. And that's why I was like, I'll share it with you again this week, just in case you guys didn't find it. But it's the second half of the agenda from last week. Okay. So here's carousel posts for, this is the hook. Not sure if pelvic PT is right for you. Here's like a carousel post. Okay. And then the second, I did yoga and Pilates studios. This is the goal. USP, by the way, stands for unique selling proposition. Okay. So unique selling propositions, like what makes you stand out versus someone else. So this is just like you, Beth, intimate, woman-owned alternative to large brand. And even for you, Erin, like alternative to a large brand, which is like alternative Club Pilates. Even though they're independently owned, they're still a franchise model, right? So here, and by the way, for those of you that love rubrics, because you don't want to think, you could do just like this. Monday motivation, right? Tuesday tutorials or testimonials, right? You could do community love on Wednesdays. You could do behind the scenes on Thursdays, and you can promote on Fridays. So for those of you that are like, I don't want to have to think about it. I don't know if any of you guys have menus. Like on Monday, we do chicken. On Tuesday, we do beef. On Wednesday, we do salmon. If you don't need to think about it, this is a way to do it. And here's one for you, Erin. Multi-location Pilates studio in North Carolina. Okay. Okay, let me go to my other sheet really quick because I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's another way too. So we have also talked last week when we talked about the different types of buyers, and that was part of the homework assignment too. There's ready to buy people. How many of you here on this call think that you're like a ready to buy person? I am. I'm like a ready to buy person. So if I know that I think you're the person to help me, okay, I will 100% go on a discovery call with you. And unless it's something like, the only time I said no was when the pitch was for $125,000. And I was like, no, thanks, I'm out. But If I think you have given me value and I know that you're the person, I no longer I don't hem and haw over it. Okay. How many of you are information gatherers? You need to have all the information. Okay. Good. That's fine. All right. And then then you have the lurkers, which they don't even ask for information. They're just in the background. Have you guys ever had people come to you and been like, oh yeah, I've been following you for years. it just took me this long to get to you. So there's all those different types of buyers. So when we put out promotions or information, we have to think about all of them from time to time. But that's really hard for us to do. It's just a lot of brain power. So a really good prompt, and I'm going to type this prompt in for you, and I think you guys should do this right here, okay, okay. All right, I'm going to share this. Hold on. Share whiteboard. Okay, here's your assignment that you can do right now, if you can. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. Okay. Okay, so you're going to ChatGPT or Claude, and we're going to build a content prompt for you for an upcoming post, okay? You can choose if you want it to be for email, Instagram, like Instagram/Facebook, or a blog, which, by the way, then you can turn into an Instagram, Facebook, or an email. Okay, so your choice. Once you have the first version, then you're going to ask the AI to create a ready-to-buy version, an info gatherer version, or a lurker version. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on with my computer. Here we go. Okay, so you guys are going to fill this in, obviously, depending on your business type. Okay, this is what you're going to prompt AI. You are my content strategist. If you want to name a person that you're like, oh, I want you to be a content strategist, I don't know, Amy Porterfield or someone, or Mr. Beast, or whoever you want on there. I want to create whatever type of content, an Instagram post, an email, or blog that aligns with my brand voice and speaks to my ideal client. And then what do you want it? Are you going to promote a new offer? Maybe, Beth, you could be like, I'm going to promote a workshop that we're hosting, or we're going to promote these new client specials that we want, or yoga. What's your goal? I want to drive sales. I want to educate. I want to increase engagement and grow the email list. And then create 3 separate versions, one for someone who's ready to buy now, one for someone who's gathering information from you. So one of the things I would say to it in reading this and your response is, for the information gatherer, this is a type of person that needs a lot of information. And so how can we make them feel, what's the word I'm looking for, more secure in making a decision? What steps do you feel this information gatherer would need to, or what milestones would this information gatherer need to hit to become a buyer? But then you could say, okay, based on this information above, create a 10-day social campaign that would hit each of these touch points. Yeah, that's perfect. 10-day social campaign for info gatherers.
Oh, I like that one. And even if you only use 3 of them.
And you could be like, you could do 10 days, but it doesn't have to be 10 days in a row. You could be like, 1 post a week is going to go to information gatherers, and every week you do that post for 10 weeks.
Yeah. No, this is great. I need to use this more. Very cool.
Yeah. So it's just literally teaching it how to respond better. And what I like, by the way, you see that little microphone there, on right there?
Oh, can you
You
just
can
talk into it?
You can talk into it. Push the microphone, or it's that option on the phone too. By the way, you can get ChatGPT on your phone. The microphone and be like, okay, here's the conversation that I need to have with an employee. You can just talk about it and say, so it understands what you're saying. It doesn't have to be written and dictated. I love because how many of you are like, I know what I want to say, but it's so many words. talk about who your ideal customer is. And then you can prompt the AI to say, present me 10 different ideal customer sentences that are 8 words or less. And the general ideal customer is like who you work with and what do you do. So it's usually a verb, teach, empower, support, work with, tutor, whatever the verb is. Who's your ideal customer? Women in the Pacific Northwest between 40 and 55, whatever that is, right? Who want to, what's their transformation? And then maybe you have a qualifier that's like with or without. So maybe it's I help women in Glen Ellen move better without impact, like without a high impact. I'm just off the top of my head. Okay. Or I teach Pilates to our goal, our mission, our thing at Pilates in the Grove was we teach mindful movement. It was like very specific. We teach mindful movement in South Florida. And our mission was more bodies doing Pilates. It was like super. Now, it didn't come out of the box like that. It took 7 or 8 years for me to whittle it down. But maybe if it's like in pelvic health, it's like I help women in Alpharetta reduce leaking without medical devices or without surgery. Help me create a who I help in 10 words or less. And then you just tell it, no, that doesn't sound right. I need it to be more succinct. And if it says something like confident, I'm always like, what is confident actually? What is confidence like? How can you make that tangible? Empower is another one. How can you make empower tangible? Okay. So those are the ways that you can use it. All right. Now, what I did for you, and I am going to send it to you when I send you the follow-up, is I actually have a prompt bank for you that you can put in to your AI and you can make it like a project that's prompt bank if you want, just so that every time you need to add that prompt, you just go and copy and paste it and add the prompt. So you guys don't have to find it over and over again. The other thing that you can do in your AI is similar to what I have done here, where I have on the left, no, I didn't, did I share? I did share. Okay, so on the left side here, I have for example, like I have my business mentoring chat, and in instructions, I can give it so I could give it the exact type of person I'm looking for. All right. So I can give it so you can have in your business mentoring, in whatever project you have, you can give it instructions. You can add files in here. Okay. I have a podcast one. So when I do my podcasts, I have all the different podcasts. It helps me write a script. I have my AI assistant. So it tells me like it's creating soap notes for me. Okay. So I would recommend to you that you create projects over here. And one of the projects could be your prompt bank. One of the projects could be email communication. One of the projects could be social media. So like you keep everything in one place for you to find it. Like I have a project that's called Random Shit. I would love to open up the floor to some questions. What questions do you have? It could be about AI. It could be about anything you guys have. Now's your time. You can come off mute and ask me whatever questions you would like. Anybody have any questions? Are your brains oozing information right now so you can't process? What do we have oozing? Yes, I get that. Okay, let me ask, because we didn't get to ask this last week. Type in the chat for me one thing that you are committing to for June. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's to get 8 hours of sleep one night a week. Commit to one thing in June and just type it in the chat. It doesn't have to be a lot of things or anything. Nice. That's a good goal. Choose. All right. Any other questions you guys have?